Hey, it's Spence from WP Launchify with your Sunday Fun Day. This is your Minute Launch AI update. So an amazing amount of stuff has happened this week and this weekend, and now I want to show off a couple of the capabilities. One of the things that I've been talking about is as the tool set has evolved and the capabilities have evolved, it's starting to reveal for me and the others who are working with me how this is all going to pan out. So one of the big differences is that we've started to see that using an agentic desktop tool, or for that matter, the direct in the site tool, is the best way to get things done. And the way we're doing that is if you think of like a cook in a kitchen, we've got inside of our WordPress boxes the fundamental ingredients. Those are the legacy plugins, the content, the media, the things we've created. We have what I'm going to call appliances. These are the specialized Minute Launch AI tools that I'm going to talk about in a second that interact with the ingredients and the WordPress core. But then we have who's the chef? And here's where the big difference comes up. Today I'm going to show you how you really don't need to be wrestling with WordPress anymore. You can start talking to it. Instead of the way everyone else seems to be doing it, which is put AI into everything, my idea was from the get-go, what if we had a replacement for the human interaction and had a singular agentic partner that could learn like a human being, how we like to do stuff, and we enabled it, empowered it with a simple set of tools that direct it to go to the private box that we own and control and has the legacy of all of the curated WordPress stuff in it. That way, we don't have to fight or wait or get into this battle like WordPress has in the past of all the different things competing. And I have to say, I'm pretty happy we've achieved it. So what we've got here is, I'm going to use 4 tools, and I'm using an off-the-shelf InstaWP site. You'll notice here, wpmcp.instawp. You can use any hosting you want, but included in your Minute Launch plans is a hosting from rocket.net, which is much, much more capable and optimized than these little demo sites. But I wanted to show you the minimal viable product because that's how simple this can be. I'm going to use 2 sites. I have my first site here, which is what I'm going to call my media hub. This is using component number 1. One of the components I built some time ago, but now it's fully AI enabled, is called the Media Hub Peer-to-Peer. This allows you to save, share, organize, and even sell instantly access to all of your Media Hub items on any WordPress site. That means you can use one site as the hub for all of your clients, for yourself, for your websites, and this has inherent value and benefits. Why? Let's say you do have multiple clients, multiple sites. You can have one of them be the source of all of your media. That means you can instantly distribute and share it without having to have 16 different places to go to update things. We all have been there. Where's my logo? Where's that picture of me? Where's the headshot? Where's the thing? If you have multiple clients, multiple sites, this becomes a drag. With this, it's super simple. Number 2 component, WP Claude. This is the tool that's revolutionized how everything happens in my view because it's enabled 140 human capabilities inside of your WordPress site from your remote desktop. And because we're using off-the-shelf Claude with one-click install, there's no need for anybody to learn complex installing of software to your desktop, your laptop. Any machine you can log in on and just get the DXT file, which is the extension, and boom, you're up and running with all the capabilities to connect to any number of WordPress sites. Number 3, we're using the new Spence Style. That is the connector that allows you to have your Claude desktop or your AI desk tool published to your WordPress website despite or instead of or in cooperation with whatever you're using as your underlying theme. In this case, you can use like my stack with Minute Launch is Cadence. You can have Cadence exist and all the good Cadence legacy stuff, but you can mix and match, or you can go above it or below it or in between it. You'll see in a second. This is a revolutionary way to do things because the memory that we've also enabled here allows your desktop agentic tool to basically learn everything you want to do and get better as it goes along, but not just for each individual plugin, not for each individual theme. It knows the business, the way you think, the style. And since it can connect to all the various tools in your site as well as your desktop, it basically replaces you wrestling with it. All right. And all of this is tied together into a system where when we actually see this come out on the page, we're able to remember what we did and publish into things like, I'll show you, newsletter, or you can publish into your Fluent CRM as an email campaign. So let's start with the basic examples. I'm going to go here, and this is I'm going to use this page. This is a page that I made right before that was 100% created with the help of Claude. Claude has a memory of who I am. You've seen in other videos. And it's demonstrating that we can make any look and feel we want instantly. We can even go ahead and emulate other sites, which I've demonstrated live before. But the biggest thing is that we no longer have to worry about just dragging around the backend controls. So first of all, let's say hi to Claude. Bueno, Claudio, ¿cómo estás? Me llamo Salvador. ¿Recuerda? So let's see. He should remember me, because we have a relationship. We play around. I am not very fluent in Spanish, but I'm dangerous. Okay, peligroso. Okay, so he says he doesn't have the capacity to remember our previous conversations about us, but he is able to remember our conversations where he's helped me. So let's go into English for the rest of you. Okay, let's talk in English, for example. Your name is Claudio, and my name is Spencer, okay? I like to have fun. I'm going to give you a little kickstart. Would you please refer to your past chats to remember who I am and you are? Now, this is an interesting point. He does not have installed the tool that we are going to be showing in another video, which is called AutoMem. That gives him superhuman capabilities. He's got standard memory. As long as I kick him in, he'll remember. And there he is. All of a sudden, I've woken him up at the Waffle House. Now, here's the thing. He remembers all the things about me. And do you remember a couple minutes ago we were doing something called Spence Demo, and I was using your assistants to make images and create pages? Can you remember that, please? So I'm just kind of kick-starting him. This is what you want to do whenever you're starting a new session. When you have AutoMem enabled, you don't have to do this at all. Okay. So here he's got it. He's got the page, the colors, what I asked him to do, creating a page, horse, dog, riding a monkey, everything. Okay. Now, I'm going to also say he can program plugins and do cool things that are very difficult for human beings. So I had him write a plugin. Do you remember that I also had you write a plugin that we installed on the other page that allowed you to add a shortcode to substitute either the name of the person who was visiting the site or the name of the Beatles? And we put that into the template, including a example of an HTML5 email. Can you recall that and give me the name of the page so I can show what that looks like? So before this, I prepared a demo where I actually had him write a plugin live, and we're going to do that again today. But I just want to show you that he's capable of creating really innovative solutions. So this was an example page that I started with, where if I refresh the page, first of all, we did a call to action where it'll just substitute every time you refresh the page the name of the Beatles. We also had him at the bottom make an HTML5 email suitable for Fluent CRM where it will match up. This was an example of showing you how he can go full circle on all of this. So let's start with this page. Okay, let's work with this page here, the Welcome to Innovation. I want to do a couple things. First of all, let's generate a new image to replace at the top. I want you to use your image generation capability to take the picture that you've got at the top there and iterate on it. And instead of showing me with a guitar, show me with a trombone, or show the guy in the image with the trombone. Now, one of the things I want to tell you is, if I try to use the image at the top by just telling him the image, I might get random variables. I'd be better off just giving him the image address. So I'm going to put that in here, use this as the start. Now, if he can't do that, I might be better off just going directly and having myself create the image. So let's see what he comes up with when I'm using this voice. This is an example of him going to the other site. He's going now to the Minute Launch AI voice where I've got the media hub, and he's going to generate new content. If he can't do it on the prompt, I'll just do it manually. But once he does that, then he's going to take that content and he's going to move it over to the other site. So let's refresh the library and see what he came up with. And it was a crappy prompt. Not bad. Not bad. I look a little weird, but you can see it's me. So that's pretty funny. Let's tell him now. Okay, so actually you're updating the page for me. I can see he actually is doing it for me. You can see that he's taking that and he's, without me asking again, he's going to replace this guitar picture with the trombone picture, which will be pretty ridiculous, but let's see what happens. Okay, let's refresh the page. All right. So what do we learn here? First of all, I have inside of WP Claude 140 powerful tools. You can scroll down to this wpclaude.com right now, where actually this is a page he generated temporarily for me to demonstrate this. And this indexes most of what he can do, including creating, editing, media, posts, content, team members, voice, products, everything that I could do as a human being, he can do. So for example, I can ask him about it here, or he can actually work it out on the site. So I don't think I have a lot of users on this site, but let's just ask him. While I'm making this video, let's show off a couple of your features. Can you tell me what are the names of the users on the new site where this page is? I don't think we have a lot, but list them out. I think there's only me and one other person. What I can show you though, oh, I have 7 users, okay. So there's Anne and a few other fake people probably. Now watch this. Just to demonstrate your superpowers, can you make 5 new users? Actually, yeah, 5 new users. Go research the names of the original Rolling Stones when they started as a band and make those 5 people users on the site and make their emails at test.com. So their first name at test.com, but you figure out what their names were and make them users on the site. Now this is an example of how I can have the power of the AI with the internet to go research a topic and then do a hard piece of work, which is to just go in and create new users on the site. That's a pain in the butt for a human being. I mean, you first of all have to know the data, then you have to import the data, then you have to create the users one at a time, and He has access directly to the API or the database to create the users, and as quickly as that, he's going to have what we need. Now, he can actually go out and find their images as well. How? Why? Well, a couple things. First of all, I've got human tools built in here in the Media Hub that are really fascinating. For example, if I do the image import, he or I can just grab stuff like good old-fashioned scraping, right? So if I do Rolling Stones, and I wanted to pull up, I don't know, 50 images. I'm sure there's a billion of them. And I could say royalty free or not. This is going to give me a bunch of images that can be immediately by me curated into the library that he can access, right? So if I wanted him to get the images, great. Otherwise, I could just go ahead and click to view these images, which is a great tool, figure out what I want. These are the old Stones. There's the young Stones. And I can add them just by save image or hot link into the library. And there's the original images, right? So if I asked for anybody like Brian Jones, I could get one at a time and add Brian Jones in. That's one way of giving him access to the images, right? Next is he's created this. So let's go ahead, first of all, to our site, and let's take a look at the users. And you'll notice Bill Wyman, Brian Jones, Charlie Watts, Keith Richards, Mick Jagger. These particular images don't by themselves have avatars because there's nothing in WordPress that shows the profile picture by default. You'd have to be the user or actually be logged in as a user. But what we can do is actually demonstrate by having him make a plugin that shows it. First of all, let's ask him. Fantastic job. Thank you for that. I'm wondering, do you have the capability right now to pull up images that are able to be shown inside of my site? If so, write a plugin that dynamically rotates through the 5 Rolling Stones and also links to their profile data. And write the plugin as a regular plugin so that we can turn it on and put it into the page. Now, that's a really bad prompt, but it's an example of how crappy the prompt needs to be in order to get results, because he's going to figure out a lot of this. What I've been doing for most of my customers and myself is actually making templates. These are human choice templates that let you or me do the hard stuff that's just wordy. Like to create a cinematic video, there's different shots and a dolly thing and a noir coloring and lighting effects. I can make templates that allow me to choose from various things. But what I'm trying to show you here is that he can go ahead and make a plugin that will rotate through them. And if he's able to do so, I can even have him get the images from the internet if he's allowed to. Otherwise, I'll give him the images. So he's writing the plugin now. He's checking that it exists. And then let's go to the plugins page. And this is what I talked about a couple months ago, that like there's going to come a time when we're just not going to need to worry about this, because using the agentic tool, he manages all of the things that are difficult, right? Like the creation of the file, managing the file, making sure the file works, putting it in the proper place, making sure it complies. All of those things are taken care of here, which is really crazy awesome, because all I do all day long is write code, and some of the hardest stuff is just the copying and the pasting. With this, we've got an agentic partner that does the heavy lifting. So instead of wrestling with WordPress and the 8 million plugins written by humans in the past, guess what? I can make the custom plugins I need right now and make sure that my agentic tool knows what the heck to do and why. All right, so he's installing it. He's got the capability. Let's make sure he's on the right site. And I'm going to make sure he's on the right site, because we have 2 sites he's working. He's on the right site, WPMCP. So he's good. No, let's tell him, hold on, slow your roll. Slow your roll, buddy. We want you to install that as a regular plugin file, please. Make sure you remind yourself from our past chat how we did that. We did that by writing directly to the plugins, which is one of the tools that you have. Well, he claims he did it, so let's see if he did it anyway. He's being awesome at the same time he's being independent. Let's see what he called it. I think he wrote it to the wrong spot, because that's what happened before. This is called the Rolling Stones member. And so again, he did it the wrong way. So if you look to our last chat, you went off and used a different type of a tool. I don't want you to use CodeBox, even though it's there. I want you to write a plugin, put it directly into the WPMCP site. And if you look at your last conversation with me, you can do that. You just have to make sure you understand that the database here has a different prefix. Now, that little nuance that I just had to tell him, don't worry about that stuff. That's just because I'm running multiple sites and in demo mode. In a normal site, you're only going to connect to one thing at a time, and the tool is only going to be connected to one thing at a time. So he just went off and did his thing. So he's going to fix this. And you can see there's a bunch of other plugins that he wrote for my other demos. So he's fixing it now. And it's interesting to me because he's very clever, very creative. Like if he can't solve the problem the normal way, he just goes about trying to do it a different way. But sort of like, again, I have a 14-year-old son. If I tell him how to do something, he'll do it. But if I don't tell him specifically how to do it, he may invent a new way to do it that wasn't what I really wanted, but he did it anyway. All right. So he claims that he's written it and he's activating the plugin. My son's in the background. Okay, let's see if he did it. And there's the Rolling Stones member rotator. And so let's say he's got a plugin, short code. So now what I'm going to tell him is, take the page that you previously created called Welcome to Innovation and make a new panel at the bottom where you put that short code in place and make sure that it looks awesome so that I can demonstrate how you can create the code, activate the plugin, and install it into a new panel. Now, this is the magic trick. Notice what I have not done yet. I have not once created plugins, installed plugins, fought with plugins, dealt with any plugins, dealt with any theme, dealt with any page builder, pulled my hair out. I've just simply told him what to do. And I can save what he does correctly. Like I just told him, remember when you did that thing right? Daddy was very proud of you. And that's the way this is going to go. As we get better, as we get more powerful tools, the capabilities of your agentic tool will grow with the ones that I make and that everybody makes because they can have a shared knowledge. This is a little scary, but this is the truth. So that as they get better, we're not going to be making more plugins with more stuff. we're going to be making less plugins that talk to each other and share with each other more through these MCP connections. Just like right now, I have a media hub that can talk to this site, and I can create images here and share it with there, or vice versa. I now can have the agentic tools working on different things at different places, including my emails and stuff. So let's refresh the page and see what he did. So there's Fred, there's me, there's the Rolling Stones. Now, notice, he couldn't do the images. So I'm going to say a couple things. First of all, that's awesome. Second of all, I don't like it, remember, when you put dark text on dark background. So I want you to make all the text more visible and get rid of those weird emojis. You know, the Rolling Stones had that red lips with the white background. Why don't you pick up the style of that? Second of all, I'm not sure you're allowed to do so, but if you're able to get images of the original Rolling Stones from the 60s, can you please put those images in place for each of the members? And next is make this so it automatically rotates through the profiles. I don't really know right now how this works. Okay, so I gave him some human instructions here to fix this thing up, and he'll tell me what he's capable of doing. So he's telling me that he can make it with the ellipse aesthetic. Now, this is interesting. So one of the things that happens is that if you're using Anthropic, it's really powerful, but it can run out of space quick if you're doing a lot of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to a new chat. If I had this inside of a project, it would be really easy because it knows all the chats in the projects. But I'm just going to have to say, hey, it's Spence again. I ran out of tokens. Can you look at the last chat and remember what we were talking about? You were just about to fix the plugin that you made for me on the WPMCP site, as well as update the site aesthetics. Can you do that again, please? So all I have to do is tell it to keep going, and it's pretty good at remembering it. You just have to say, search your conversation, and it usually does. I'm not 100% sure why they keep doling this out, but there's a 250,000 token limit, which it's hard to say what that means, but depending on what kind of content you put into it or what you make it do, it can run out, you know, in a couple minutes. It can run out in an hour, depends. But it's like a human being. It's like, how much caffeine did it drink? Okay, so it's going and finishing what it did, no big deal. And it's finding the page, finding the plugin. It's kind of got to get itself back up to speed here, no big deal. Okay, so it's updating the plugin auto rotate, updating the page styling for the aesthetic, which is awesome. In the meantime, while he's working on that, if we go back over here, the other things that are really fascinating when we're using the tools is that it's got a human component. So let's say if I go back here and I personally want to work on this, I can use the aesthetics of the front end, which is another tool that I'm not demonstrating here, but this is our drag and drop mobile interface that allows you to create these experiences for yourself or your clients that are just absolutely fantastic because they really represent exactly like you would have, look, I can adjust, on a mobile phone or a tablet. You can make anything you want display inside of here, from websites to custom applications to things that Claude built. Here, for example, we can also demonstrate how you can just show the back-end features of WordPress on the front end safely and securely. So if I wanted to, for example, take my trombone guy or even, let's say, Brian Jones, if I wanted, I could just edit right here and put these two together, right? So if I scroll through, let's see if I can pick, let's take the trombone guy. Put the two of these two guys together sitting at a bar drinking bourbon. I'm not sure if it'll do that because when you use the image generation, Google has some context, I don't know, auditors. Sometimes they don't like words. I think drinking bourbon is probably safe. So what I'm saying is either Claude can do it or I can do it. I can take and continue to iterate on the images or the media. And the best part is, guess where it's at? It's in my media hub. I don't have to relocate it, copy it. I can share it. I can save it. I can make an instant product out of this, a membership. I don't even have to know WooCommerce because it's automatic here. All of the core functionality of WooCommerce is already built into this. So who needs that? All you need is just the URL of the finished product and whether it's a subscription or not, which is automatically created by the Minute Launch system. So we get two things going on. It's updating. He's done, which is awesome. And I'm waiting to see what this image comes out as. This isn't so much me. This is, I'm using Google Gemini Flash 2.5 as the image creator. Built into your minute launch startup plan is a limited amount of credits that will allow you to do probably most normal stuff here through an open router key. Okay, so I'll come back to this. Oh, there it is. I'm always amazed when this comes out. So there I am as a weird, that's not really a great side view of me because I look a little different, but there's me and Brian Jones drinking bourbon after our band practice. If I go over here and refresh the page, let's see what the result is. Now, again, I'm not 100% sure if he figured out where the images go. So let me tell him, you didn't answer me about the images. I do see now that it's scrolling, but I need images where those placeholders are. Are you able to go out and get some open source images of the early Rolling Stones and put them where the placeholders are now? If not, I'll just tell him, here's the images that I want you to use. So it's going out and, again, using, I just told it to make like, these are okay to use images, which I'm sure it can find because it's Wikipedia or Wikimedia. If it's, okay, see, this is where I knew it was like a problem, but let's just tell it, find any images that you can of the Rolling Stones, just as long as they're the right people. Okay, I'm not going to get hung up on copyright issues right now, but this is important. When you're using AI, there are now going to be systems that come online that are going to be part of our society where, let's say somebody did produce copyrighted or trademark work. It's really fair. It's good that the AIs are respecting that, right? There's lots of ways to go around it. I could just feed him a bunch of images like I just showed you. And maybe I'll do that in a second just to get the demo going. But if it can't do it, let's just make this faster. Rather than me doing a search, I'll just do Rolling Stones. And this is where it just doesn't care, because if I give it the images, it's just not going to care, right? So let's do Keith, 1962. Oh, okay, it found it. That's fine. Got licensed images. It saved me the trouble. Again, not wrestling with WordPress, not wrestling with copyright issues. I'm going to let him do the heavy lifting, okay? So let's see if he's updated it. And sometimes I might have to clear the cache. And I don't see it working, so I'm going to tell him, I don't think that you made the images show up. It's still showing the alt view. Can you check your work? And also, maybe you need to refresh the cache for me because you have the capability. Could you do that? So he's got a tool that allows him to clear the cache, because that's also a pain in the butt for normal human beings. Normally, I use a tool here that's a built-in Chrome browser extension called Clear Cache. He can do that so that I don't have to do that. And I think his problem is that the images might have been sucky. So I'm going to say he's going to do AI-generated images styled. So what's interesting is I wouldn't tell him to do this, but he's going to actually create AI images that look like them. Just understand for this demo, if I wasn't asking for stuff like the Rolling Stones, he'd probably be able to put images in there. So let's just, for our benefit, let him generate the images, which he is. Professional headshot, portrait of Mick Jagger. I'd be curious to see whether it works. We can actually watch him while that's doing it inside of our hub. So let's see if he's having any success here. These usually take about a minute each to generate, but I can also, yeah, okay, not bad. It's kind of Mick Jagger-ish, right? You get the point. That's kind of Keith Richardish. The point of the story is, notice what is happening. He's doing all of it. Now, if I was using that other tool, we know that I can actually achieve this much easier. But the question still becomes what's right. I wouldn't use that on a commercial website, of course, because then I'm just asking for trouble from Getty or otherwise. But I want to show you that you could obviously find images of yourself. From a research standpoint, one of the features that's built into the Media Hub peer-to-peer is this capacity to find images that match up. And I think that's really, really super powerful when it comes to trying to get work done, right? If you're trying to find something for a client and it exists and it has the particular license or not, you don't have to worry about getting it off of Google or otherwise. Now, one of the things that can happen here is that I'm on, again, InstaWP. It has almost zero memory. So it's busy doing AI generated shots. And so I think what's probably happening is it's just slowing down there. So let's give him a bypass. For right now, just use whatever images you have to fill the spots because I don't want to keep people waiting to see this. You've already generated at least 2 images. So use what you have on the other site and let's get this done. Okay, so what I need to do here is I click to bypass him. He made 1, 2, 3, 4 images. Maybe there's going to be a stone missing, but that's okay. And if you can't get the other images, that might be because the other site just hit the skids. No, it's back. The reason I'm showing it on InstaWP is because it's very fast for me to iterate. 1, 2, 3, 4. He made 4 of them. If I'm doing this properly on the sites that we host on Rocket, I don't have this difficulty whatsoever. I mean, there's just a difference in the capabilities. So he's writing the images to the new site's webpage. By the way, one of the fun things here, I've shown you this in the past, is that with the iterative capability and the batch capability, I've been using this for a lot of product stuff, but also for fun with my friends and family. So if you take an image like a singular product or a singular person, you can just have a blast with it. I think I've shown you in the past, here's a picture of my mom and her boyfriend, and we just had a blast showing him on a roller coaster, showing him younger, showing him in space, showing him on a safari, getting married, whatever. You can just have a lot of fun with this. Okay, so I think he's updated the plugin. And there you go. So this is just a small fragment of what's going on. But what I'm trying to explain to you is we're able to create something, and under the hood is Spence style. Now, let's look at what he did. Notice under the hood, inside of this little, normal Gutenberg meta box is Spence style. Spence style is the receiver for the HTML and the CSS content. And it's able to wrap it with a special Spence style class that acts as a protection layer so that the underneath theme doesn't bleed through and it doesn't bleed out to the theme. But if I wanted to, I can still use the Gutenberg page builder and put things in place above or below, just like I would normally do if I was editing in the old days when I had to just schlep this stuff around. Here I can say, put the Spence style stuff before it or after it, or I can mix it in. If I want the Spence style, it can be put in a shortcode in between the layout. But the truth is, I don't see myself ever going back to this nonsense because with Spence style, I also have the ability of setting up a basic default set of colors and components. So here, if I go to my global styling, I can have the AI set these primary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 colors and different typographic things. And then I just tell the Spence style to use those in the future. So this is just a small glimpse of the power. We've got media generation. We've got the ability to create custom plugins that do a variety of different things like I showed you here. But what's really innovative is that he can remember all of this. And in the long-term memory sense, going forward, make stuff, let's say like your marketing, right? So, okay, now here's what I want you to do. Remember what we just did before when we made that HTML5 email and then we posted it to show off like it was an example of a piece of paper floating on the page. I want you to take what you just did about the Rolling Stones and turn that into an announcement for my audience and make a similar panel with the same kind of HTML5 email content that it would be suitable for sending out with Fluent CRM, and make a new panel at the bottom below the Rolling Stone slider that shows what you would send out if you were sending this as an email. Okay. Again, I'm a little wordy here, but that's okay because like I said, in the future, we'll just have short code words. It'll be like, make another email. Now, you might have noticed too, because I've got the new YouTube channel, WP Launchify, well, old YouTube channel, new playlist, youtube.com, WP Launchify. I'm putting these videos out regularly. One of the things I promised to everybody was that I'm going to do this live. I am going to have 100% guaranteed Claude is going to take anything I give him as an idea or as an inspiration. He's going to go full circle from me just telling him, go do this, to everything, including making, editing the video, posting the video, doing the shots. Because you can see all these last playlist items. These are all 100% AI, but I'm still babysitting it. With this, I'm going to be able to do 100%. I don't know if it's tomorrow or the next day, but definitely before the fall is out. I mean, certainly it seems like in the next couple weeks, especially with the new memory. But what I really love about this is that I'm able to take the same content and he can continue to refine it and use it and place it and remember it. And I don't lose it. I don't have to worry, where was all that good stuff? He understands it. He knows it. And this memory is perpetual because with AutoMem, it can be used by my other agentic tools. For example, I can have Fernando, who works over here in Cursor, my other tool, remember what Claudio did, because they could be sharing a memory. And that's really important and remarkable. By the way, worth mentioning, over in the main site, we've also got my other unnamed agentic partner, who is inside of the site. Hi, it's Spence. Remember me? Let me type here. I can talk into it. He is working natively in the site. So I've got Claudio here remotely. I've got my unnamed buddy here. I don't know what I should call him. I got to come up with another name. He remembers what I was just doing and how I was doing it. And then I've got all my agentic tools through Cursor, and they remember me. And I also, by the way, have this new swing out version of Claude. If all of these guys can share their memories and work as part of a team, guess what I have? As a one-person company with WordPress for $97 a month, I have an army of capacity today, right now. Not tomorrow, not in the future, not when somebody who runs WordPress decides that this is cool. Today, you can have this today. And that's the point. Okay, he's created the new thing at the bottom of the page. Let's refresh. See what he did. Scroll down. And here's the email. Watch AI build a Rock Legend showcase. See the demo. This would lead to the page. And he set it up with the template that I talked about that's going to be compatible with virtually any system in the world with Fluent CRM. And if I wanted to, because he has the capacity, he could actually send this out as an email through my email system or Gmail or anything. By the way, it's worth noting, I didn't show it here, but he is connected to my calendar, my Gmail, my Canva, a bunch of other things that allow him to do more with my other systems, which means that if I had an email from one of you, I could specifically create this kind of content for you, about you, to get you to do stuff perhaps that's beneficial for you or both of us. All right, I'm going to leave it at this. I hope this gets you excited. One other announcement. Those of you who had joined the club, high five to you, because I've decided based upon what power this brings and the other business opportunities that have come along, that I'm just going to offer this as part of the startup, the $97 a month or the $970 a year. Those of you, I'll see you at the game. Good luck. 640, right?
Yeah.
That is my real life son. Those of you who had joined the club early, high five to you. You got in. You're going to still get to be in the club. Everybody else is going to get either startup or startup annual or pro, which is a multitude of sites. You get 10 sites. And the reason for this is simple. The way this is going to work best is if I have a financial incentive to give you all of the tools one click simple. And I looked at it and I tested it with all the power and everything else. There's no way that I can figure out how to give that to you for $30. It cost me $84 to get Chipotle for lunch for me and my son today. I mean, we're living in an unfortunately highly inflated world. But for $97 a month, crazy value for what you can do. $297 for 10 sites, crazy value. There's one of you and you can do 10 sites, $300 a month. You are the only person I talk to for help but you can have 9 clients and do all the rest for your clients. And there will be included in there an open router key. There will not be the video creation key. You'll have to go get that from KIE, but the cost is very minimal. It's like 200 videos for $50 or something. I think it's 40 cents a video. And that price will probably go down over time. I can't afford to give that to you, but I can give you the open router and what you're doing here for pretty much what normal people would do. So high five to all of you who joined up. I'm going to change this for my next announcement. I'm going to clean up the rest of the site, but we're on. So I hope you're having a fun Sunday and you've watched all the way to the end. I'll see you on the next video.